All right, let's try to do a winner on this one. I don't want to edit anymore. So, all right, we have the ultimate Piccolo S.H.Figuarts review. And first off, we got the original S.H.Figuarts Piccolo and the first Dragon Ball Z figure in the line. Next off, we have the Comic-Con exclusive special color edition Piccolo. And then third, we have the proud Namekian Piccolo with the all-new box art. And finally, we have the recent Piccolo superhero from the movie Dragon Ball Superhero. All right, so all four crossed. Let's go one by one. We'll start off with the original. So this one, to me, is the antithesis of not just Piccolo, but the brand itself as the Dragon Ball Figuarts compilation. It was the first one. I believe it was the tester in the whole series of Dragon Ball Z figures. And I like the way how they presented this. I believe he has, you know, his hat and his cape and everything, but it also comes with the head without the turban, things like that. Let's go ahead and open this box up really quickly so that we can get that out of the way. And I'm doing that off camera because it's easier for me. All right, and so this is what it comes with. It comes with the, you know, the two fingers, two of the pink fingers, and we got the head, the grinning head. We have the painted fingernails. He's really goth. His face, the stoic face, it's right here. His crossed arms, similar to how Vegeta has his poses and Future Trunks has his pose too. As well as the back of, I believe, his cape. I believe it's tattered. But yeah, I don't really use those parts. I like it just the way it is, you know. But yeah, so those are the accessories here. I don't want to go and take them out of their packaging because I don't want to bore you with those items. But I just want to call out a couple of neat details. First off, when I said this was the first one, I believe there were different iterations. I know the Japanese one had the Dragon Ball Z logo. This one is the Dragon Ball Kai. You know, so they had different packaging. Okay, so let me take that back. This is the Japanese packaging because it doesn't have the bluefin distribution sticker on there. And yeah, you see that the special color edition just fell back there. I can go back later and describe why, but yeah, so let's go up and down this figure and its features. Right off the bat, you could see the coloring of these blue tints in his cape. Let's see if you can zoom in on this one. Yeah. So a little bit of a sky blue tint with some of that detail. His joints are pretty stiff still, considering this is an older, actually the oldest figure here. Yeah, it's one of the things I don't like about the figure, and you can see this right now, is the hips are super loose. And similar to the design over here with the special edition, they're very loose, so they tend to fall down on their own or not be stable. I know that there are a couple of ways to fix it with like tack or some, you know, crazy, you know, spirits or whatever that you can stick into the joints, but I'm not about that. If it stands, it stands. If it falls, right? So this figure to me is a great beginning to what the Piccolo will tend to be. And I know this was one of those sought after figures as the later years go on. But yeah, I mean, other than that, the color scheme is you know, the basic color scheme that he has in the anime, I believe. And yeah, nothing too special about it. Again, it's the first one that's there from the Figuarts line, which again, got a lot of people excited for. I myself only got into this collection probably 3 years ago, so I know this one came out a while back. Regardless of the fact it did have a plastic cape, very much set the weight of the figure, so its center of balance is a little bit, you know, awkward, but you can always style it the way you want. Granted that you could, you know, have the joints pose in a specific way. But yeah, one other thing that I've noticed, this is where we begin to see, like, you know, the hollow joints at the back of the knee. It looks really, really cheap, but I mean, this is the first figure that came out from Figuarts, or, you know, the line. So, you know, it was good for what it is at that point. A lot of gaps. And yeah, it's just overall a solid figure. You can see this big ass gap. But yeah, I mean, this is just the start of the whole trend. You could also see here, sorry for zooming that in for the longest time, the shoes. The shoes are a little bit of a beige, a light beige, so they look good for what they are. And you'll see the color change once I go into the second figure, the special color edition Comic-Con exclusive. And this one only came to the US. I had to get this one aftermarket because I needed to get that so I can do this ultimate Piccolo S.H.Figuarts review. But similar to what the first figure packaging was, you could see here, they had the same style, superimposed dot matrix, you know, print, and you have the, you know, name on the left hand side, and, you know, all of these weird sort of early 2000s design details with English wording. I don't know. I feel like it was one of those things, even with websites too. So, and you could see the differences in color. You could see that this one has the purple and the special color edition marked on there, yellow on the dot matrix negative. But yeah, those are the differences in between these two packagings. But let's go ahead and get into the figure itself. So right off the bat, and again, I got this used, but considering the fact that it was in great condition used, I'm not certain that it was posed as much, considering the one that I had too was not posed as much as well. So again, basing off the first renditions of these figures, the joints were super, super loose when you played with it only a little bit. So again, let's go through the comparisons. With this one in particular, you could see that there's more blue hue shading in the cape and the shoulder pads. You can see a little bit of the tinge in the helmet, but even the cape in the back, you can see like all that is just super sky blue, as opposed to the original one. You could see the blue tint there, but it's not as prominent as the special color edition. And yeah, the waistband is light blue, and this is, the original is obviously red. And you'll see that transitioning to the next figure once we get there. But yeah, this has also brown, darker brown shoes. Still pointy, but they have some details in them. They got some lines, whereas opposed to this one being more, you know, khaki, light brown. But yeah, also the muscles, or these scales, I'm not sure what you want to call them, hit that up in the comments below. But yeah, these yellow things versus the pink ones, Again, differences could be because one is anime and one is the manga versions, but y'all could correct me in the comments section below. But yeah, this is even much more loosey-goosey figure. You could see a lot of the gaps here. There's gaps there. Same figure again, but I feel like the integrity of the original figures are not as strong as the upcoming figures down the line. But in any case, this is a really good figure too as well if you need to have a secondary color. So that is the special color edition San Diego Comic-Con exclusive version. Just quickly going over what is inside the box. I believe it's the same stuff too. So crossed hands, the face, not sure if you could see that. Right here, the stoic face, the grinning face, and then instead of having goth hands, he has, you know, just natural white, you know, French style fingernails. But yeah, that's the only difference between that and the first edition ones. So yeah, pretty much the same figure, just the tinges in color, pink, mainly light blue, and the overall shading of the product. So moving on to the latest, this guy, the Proud Namekian. This one came out like recently, I mean, relative to the whole group. But yeah, new box design. And again, just for a reminder, this is the original design and this is the new one. And it looks like the figure fell behind me. But yeah, you can see the big difference. You can also see the difference in the height there. I mean, this is a deep box. And this one is a little bit shallow, even though this did come with the cape and the options without it too. So let's go into this figure as well. I want to make sure that I cover that. So the first thing off the bat, you could see there's a lot more prominent definition to the face. Oh, there you go. If I could get some clarity on that. Yeah, there you go. So there's some clarity on the face as opposed to original, you know, not as defined. You could see that there's wrinkles and other items in the face that you can pull from that. This one's very basic, but yeah, you can also see the lip is red, you know, eyebrows are prominent, much more stronger features. The ears bend towards outwards, and this one's a little bit shorter. Another noticeable feature are, let's pull back. Yep, the cape. So the cape reminds me of like a Batman-esque style cape. There's also these figures, Kyoto or something like that. Mention it in the comments below. I cannot recall the name, but these figures that have like these joints where they're superposable. The joints can, you know, pull back and forth. You could angle them in certain ways. And this is sort of what it's mimicking here. So it kind of has like this butterfly effect or you know, fly or beetle effect, if you will. You know, you can have this open, shut versus the original cape, which is all plastic. So there wasn't a lot of posability in this cape. I mean, the best thing was the posability, but at the cost of having gaps in the cape and looking weird like this. But I mean, if done, you know, respectfully, you could pose that cape to go up this way, which obviously the original cannot bend unless you bend the figure itself. So that was a good thing, especially like in head-on poses where you could see that cape come up, you know, from the back there, flare it out, things like that. This one's much more darker in tone. You could see here where the shading is a lot more gray, like a stone. And Sorry, I have to sit down here for this one. Again, the turban is a lot more darker as opposed to the all-white one with blue tinges. This one is gray, slate gray like stone. And the other change in the design was the color. So this one is the original color from the first figure, and this one is the special edition color, or at least close to it, as you can see here with the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. They also share the same pink color tones on the arms. Again, mention in the comments below what these are. I'm thinking scales or something like that. But yeah, similar in color. But we also have another change in the form of the legs. And these right here give it its much more structured feel to it, less hollowness, as opposed to the original ones that are super hollow, or at least don't have as a structure behind the knee. Not many gaps as well, so you could see the diaper, you know, right here. It covers in the buttocks area right there. And then, yeah, you got this plastic piece that will not only just cover and fill up the back, but it has like these joints that make it much more stronger, or at least much more robust when it's in standing mode, considering the cape. However, the one drawback I see with this figure, and you'll see it here, are the details in the shoes. So we don't have any more line detail. Here is the San Diego Comic-Con version, and you can see here, let's see if I can zoom into, there you go. Yeah, the line detail on these, at least they have, you know, black markings on them, as opposed to this guy right here. So yeah, they just skimped out on that one. But, you know, that's fine. We had a overall better figure, and I'm sure that most custom collectors will probably paint that on their own. But yeah, as far as the full figure, I feel that this one was a better overall structure. I mean, there's some robustness. I mean, you could also say that, yeah, it's a little bit newer of a figure, and you know, that could attend to the structure of it. But regardless of that, I mean, it still doesn't have gaps like this. I mean, you could see that, oh, look, there it goes. You can see that it's off center, but of gravity. But yeah, you can see that there is no gaps in between the legs and the crotch piece. Its diaper is holding very well. But yeah, that is the Proud Namekian version of that. And finally, let's get into the newest, latest Piccolo superhero S.H.Figuarts figure. And this is a toned down version, distilled from everything. No cape, no turban, none of that shit. It's just pure Piccolo in all of his green glory. And right off the bat, you could see, you know, the differences in that his skin has a lot more texture. Let's go ahead and zoom in. There's more texture in these as opposed to the original ones, which looks a little, you know, scaly, but not as deep as these ridges. So these look more of like muscle strands than, you know, these guys. I mean, they look like they're toned, but it's just like if you were in like one of those Zen sand gardens and have those designs on there. This is straight up his arm, you know, it's fully ripped, things like that. And so